Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles. Today, I have a puzzle for you that is a numbered rooms puzzle that we set on stream. So that is why it's by Zetamath and Friends, because any puzzle I set on stream is always attributed, at least it's intended to always be attributed as Zetamath and Friends. I may have occasionally messed that up. Not that I'm aware of. If you're aware of any, let me know, but I'm not aware of any where I've messed it up. So anyway, if you're curious where puzzles come from, and you wish to know more than the theory that a stork leaves the puzzle for you under a cabbage leaf for you to find in the morning, feel free. There'll be a link down in the description to the video where we set this puzzle. So setting the puzzle took about an hour. You can see what that process looks like. I have been considering, by the way, having some more setting content in this Introduction to Puzzles series. So like how to set 1 to 2 star puzzles. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I've been sort of contemplating if it would be appropriate. Okay, so this is a numbered rooms puzzle, which is a somewhat strange constraint that has to do with basically telling you where the digit is going to go. So if I'm looking at this clue, what this is telling me is this digit tells me where this 3 is going to go. So for example, if this is a 9, it's telling me the 3 is going to go in the 9th spot starting from this side. And so the 3 would go there. If this is a 7, the 3 would be going in the 7th spot, so it would go there. If this was a 1, it would be telling me the 3 went on top of this cell, which would be bad. If this was a 3, it would be telling me the 3 went here, which also has some problems. So you can see there are some numbers that just don't work. But there are lots of things I could do, like 5 could put a 3 there. Okay, so that's the rules of a numbered rooms puzzle beyond the normal numbered rooms, beyond the normal Sudoku rules. Do note, it's always counting from the side that the clue is on. So for example, this 7, if it's a 2, that's the 2nd spot from the clue for the 7. That's how, by the way, this like double 8 could possibly work. Because like if the 8 is there, that would be the 8's not there, spoiler. If the 8 was there, that would be a 3 and that would be a 7 because it's the 7th from this side and the 3rd from this side. Okay, so hopefully that's enough examples. Numbered rooms is weird, and I understand and appreciate that, but hopefully that makes some sense. Alrighty, so there's a link down in the description if you'd like to try out the puzzle. And let's go ahead and try and get a handle on it ourselves. Okay, so let's have a look at this cell, which seems to place 2 4s. Not places, and I know where they go. But let's contemplate what this can possibly be. It can't be a 1, and I'll give you 2 reasons it can't be a 1. One of them is there's a 1 in the column, which is a good reason. The other reason is if this is a 1, I would place the 4 in the first spot, which would go on top of the 4. Basically, anytime you have a numbered rooms clue, it can't be a 1 unless the clued digit is a 1. So there's like a weird asymmetry between the digits because a 1 can clue itself and nothing else can. Anyway, I can't make it a 1. You might think, okay, well, what about a 2? A 2 doesn't actually work so well either, because if I make this a 2, it's actually saying both of these are 4s, which is, again, a problem for 2 different reasons. One of which is it's put 2 4s in this box, the other of which is it's repeated 4 in this row. A 3 here has, roughly speaking, the same problem, because it would put 4s in each of those spots. Okay, so already this digit's way more restricted than it looks. So it can't be 1, 2, or 3. Well, it can't be a 4 either, because if this is a 4, it's saying that we put 4s there, and that's a problem. Okay. Now, I'm not sure I see a reason it can't be a 5 right away. I'm not sure I see a reason it can't be a 6. But I do see a reason it can't be a 7, 8, or 9. And pause the video for a second if you're not sure and see if you see why it can't be a 7, 8, or 9. And the reason is Sudoku. If this is a 7, 8, or 9, it puts a 4 in one of these cells. But there's a given 4. And so this given 4 is doing very weird work in terms of the Sudoku, because it's making this digit unable to be a 7, 8, or 9, even though it doesn't share a row, column, or box with that digit. Okay. Perhaps it's worth examining this slightly more, since there's only two options. It's only a 5 or a 6. Maybe we should think about whether it can really be each of those. So let's contemplate 5. What would a 5 do? A 5 would place 4s in both of these cells. What does that do? Now, you might at first think this isn't a problem, except it's actually a problem because of the clues that these things both live in. And so you should always pay attention if your numbered rooms clue is one of the ones in sort of on the borders. If you place your digit on a clue, it places more digits. And so that could be bad. And here is an example where that's bad, because if I make those both 4, I make both of those 8. And that has the problem that both of those 8s are in box 5 in different places. So actually, if you look at the impact not on the digit 4, but on the digit 8 of making this a 5, it doesn't work. So this is, in fact, always a 6. Okay, and so that means that these digits are both 4s. So we can go ahead and notice, just for Sudoku purposes, one of those is a 4. Okay. Maybe we should look at, like, this column and this row are getting a little bit crowded. Let's have a look at what they can do. So this 5 I need to place somewhere around here. This can't be a 1. It can't be a 2 because I'd place the 5 on top of the 1. I think this could plausibly be a 3. It certainly can't be a 4. It can't be a 5 because I would place the 5 in the 5th spot, and that's too many 5s in the column. It can't be a 6 because there's one up here already. It looks to me like it plausibly could be a 7 or an 8. Let's see. What else can we say here as we look at this? So if we look back at this 3, this again can't be a 1, and it can't be a 2 or a 3, because a 2 or a 3 would place the 3 on a 3 clue. It can't be a 4. So it looks to me like this could be a 5. It looks like it... Oh, sorry. It can't be a 6. And it could maybe be a 7 or 8, placing a 3 over here. So one of the sort of keys to numbered rooms is to note that things are often a lot more restricted than they look, because any digit that's in the way of a clue blocks both that digit and also that cell. Plus, you inherently have that you can't put an 8 in front of an 8, and you can't put an 8 in the 8th spot if you're looking at, say, an 8 clue. And so often just 1 or 2 digits is enough to really tank what could possibly show up here. Okay. So what about this 3? I don't think I immediately see any reason it can't be a 2. It certainly can't be a 3 or a 4. I think it could plausibly be a 5. It can't be a 6. And it could be a 7 or an 8. Okay, that feels horrible. I'm not going to look at that. But I do notice, actually, I should probably ask the question where the 9 goes in this row. Sorry, in this column. Because notice we haven't put a 9 in this column yet. And you can't put a 9 in front of a 9. So the only two places you could plausibly put a 9 are these two. But I can't actually put a 9 here either, because if I put a 9 here, then I end up putting an 8 in front of an 8 clue. And we shan't put an 8 in front of an 8 clue, because it would put a second 8 in the row. So in fact, actually, our 9 is there. Which could perhaps prove useful at some later point. Okay. Speaking of 8s, maybe we should actually look at what's going on here, because we know this can't be an 8, actually. So this can't be a 1. It can't be 2 for a sort of funny reason, which has to do with the fact that if this is a 2, I put the 8 here. But that's in the 8th spot, so I'd also put an 8 here. This is a particular pattern that you might actually notice if you do a bunch of numbered rooms puzzles, which is if you ever have the same digit clued from opposite ends, and we did this in the example, the two digits in the cells always add up to 10. And that's because you basically count one of the cells twice. So for example, if it were here, that would be a 4 and that would be a 6, and 4 plus 6 is 10. If it were here, that would be a 5 and that would be a 5, which would be problematic, but 5 plus 5 is still 10. Okay. So in other words, this can't be a 2, because if it's a 2, then I end up making that an 8, and then you have the problem of putting an 8 in a line with an 8. Okay, so this is not 1 or 2. I think it can be 3 as far as I can tell. It can't be 4. 5 has the problem I just outlined, that it would make this a problem, because I would end up placing an 8 here, and that would also be a 5. It can't be 6. It could be 7. It can't be 8 or 9. So in fact, this is a 3 or a 7. And likewise, this is a 3 or a 7, based on whether the 8 is there or there. Right, so I know one of these two is an 8. I don't know which one as of yet. That will have to depend on my choices in life. Okay. That does, I notice, tell me this digit isn't a 5. Because if this was a 5, I would again place an 8 in this row, which I am not meant to do. So this digit can't be 4, 5, or 6 just by the row. So if I look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's just trip off some of these. It can't be an 8 because it would be an 8 on an 8 clue. Let's see. Two or 3. 7 or 9. I think all of those seem okay to me, as best I can tell. But I also notice this is a 3-7 pair, so I also can't make either of these digits a 5. Because if I make either of these digits a 5, then I end up putting a 3 in a row with a 3, which I also should not do. And so these actually also can't be 4, 5, 6. And so these are from 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, remember, you can never make a numbered rooms clue for a number that's not 1, a 1. So really, they're from 2, 7, 8, 9. But that actually is more useful than it looks. Because think about what cells I'm saying are candidates. The 3 is either there or it's in one of these cells, and it's either there or it's in one of these cells. What that's saying is the highlighted cells have 2 3s in them. Well, that had better mean that one of these 2 is a 3, because otherwise I've just put 2 3s in box 9, which is too many 3s to put in box 9. So one of these 2 is a 3, and in particular, one of these is a 2, to index the 3, basically. Whichever of these 2 is a 3, the one above it is the 2. And now that does a little bit of work looking over here. So that 2 looks at that cell and says, now that's not an 8 anymore. But also, this 3 is looked at by this 3 clue. And so that 3 is always in either the 7th or the 8th spot. It's not in the 2nd or 5th spot anymore. And lo and behold, we have uncovered a 3, 7, 8 triple in column 1. And that has made these cells a 2, 5 pair. Okay. Now, that immediately says this is, this which sees the 5 is either a 3 or a 7. It's not an 8 for sure. Because the 5 isn't there anymore because of that. Now that's a 3, 7 pair, and so now we actually get some more digits. That is an 8, placing the 3 there, which places the 2 there, placing the 3 over here. I did that very inefficiently. So one of those is a 3. I don't quite know yet exactly how that's going to work. But we'll figure it out. Okay, so those tell me one of these 2 cells is a 9, and one of these 2 cells is a 9. Okay. This can't be a 9 anymore because of, in a very roundabout way, of this 3. Because if this is a 9, again, always think if you place the digit on a clue, always think, what does the clue do? And so a 9 here would place the 8 there. What does that do? That places a 3 there, but there's already a 3 in that row. So this, in fact, isn't a 9. And so now this is placing an 8 in the 3rd or 7th spot, which happens by a weird coincidence to be these 2 cells. And so what I've actually learned, if we sort of try and iron all of that out, is that one of these 2 cells from this clue is an 8, and one of these 2 cells from this pair of clues is a 9. So these 2 cells are in fact an 8-9 pair. Okay, that somewhat makes me want to look at this. Yeah, okay. And I could have done this in either order, actually. That can't be a 3 anymore, because if this digit is a 3, then this is indexed by the 9, or by a 9 here, but the 9 in this column is definitely not here. So in fact, this digit just is a 7. Okay, and so we can place the 8 in the 7th spot, which makes that the 9. And now that 9 is indexed by that 5. This is a 2, so it indexes that 9. And so I can get rid of all of these colors, probably, because we've handled those clues. Okay, we still know one of these is an 8. Okay, this 8 is under more pressure now than it was previously, because I can't make any of these an 8 anymore because of that 8. So let's see. If I write this in, what can it actually be? So it can't be 1. I think it could be 2. It can't be 3 because the 3 in the box is over there. Can't be 4, 5, 6. and could be 7, but not 8 and not 9 because it would put it on top of a given 1. It's almost useful. It's suspiciously close to useful. I know one of these is a 3. Oh, I can just place a 9 by Sudoku here. Let's do that. We've got... Oh, sorry. No, I can't. Sorry. The 9 by Sudoku is in one of these 2 cells, but I don't know which one. Oh, how about I do this cell? The 3 isn't in the 5th spot anymore because that's not a 3. So in fact, that's an 8, placing the 3 over there. That's a 9, placing a 3 down here. That 3 then goes and resolves our 7 and our 3 and our 7 and our 2, bouncing around there. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so now let's fill in all of those digits. So the 2 fills an 8 here. The 7 fills an 8 here, which is the same thing that did. Did I do any more things, or is that it? That might be all the digits that we just filled in. But I probably missed one, and I'm going to regret it. Now, though, I can place the 9 there by Sudoku. See, these are a pair, one of which is a 1, which goes there. 3, 4. That's a 5. Let's see. What are these digits, just to be thorough? One of them is a 4. One of them is a 2. One of them's a 7. Okay, that didn't help a lot. I already knew one of those was a 4. Where's the 3 in this column? Is that a good question to ask? Well, we're asking it now, so it's too late. If you didn't want to ask it, you're on the wrong channel. And I guess I now know neither of these is a 9. Okay, let's actually look at all of these. So first of all, the 9 can't in neither of these columns is up here. So these are just from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 automatically. And they're not 1, of course. And they're not 3 by Sudoku, actually. So they are from 2, 4, 5, 6. And now, just like we did with these 2 3 clues up here, we can play the same game down here and ask ourselves, okay, so given that there's 2 9s in the highlighted cells, one of them has to go here. Because otherwise I've put 2 9s into box 5. So one of these is a 2, one of these is a 9. And then less usefully, there's a 9 in like one of these spots up here somewhere. Oh, it's not the 6th one. I just noticed there's a 9 looking across. So actually, can take out the 6. So it's just from 2, 4, and 5. Okay, so that actually is going to impact the 3 because now I can't use a 2. So now this is not 1, 2, 3. I don't think I see a reason it can't be a 4 or a 5 or a 6, but it can't be a 7, 8, or a 9 just by Sudoku. So the 3 is definitely in one of these cells. Oh, it seems not to be a 5. Okay, I didn't see a reason it couldn't be a 5, but it can't be a 5 because there's a 3 there. So this is a 4 or a 6. Okay. So yeah, one of those 2 is a 3. Can I do any more Sudoku? I bet I can probably do more Sudoku. And if I can do more Sudoku, I probably should. Yeah, I should Sudoku this 8 down here. How am I doing on 8s? I've got lots of 8s. I don't quite have all the 8s yet. Is this 7 super restricted? It can't be 1, 2, 3, of course. Looks to me like it can be 4. Oh, sorry, it can't be 4 because of that given 4. It can't be 5 because there's a 7 in column 5 already. Okay, I'm going to say I think it can be 6. It certainly can't be 7, and it can't be 8, and it can't be 9. Okay, so this is only 6. Very bizarre. So this is, again, the standard numbered rooms experience. is that something that looks like you have absolutely no information about it, in fact, is actually completely forced. So that's a 6, which makes that a 7. Admittedly, I'd much rather have had the 7 there, but what can you do? Okay, so one of these two is a 7. That also doesn't sound great. One of these two is a 7. That also doesn't sound great. What's left in this column? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, apparently the 3 is placed. Yeah, the 3 in the column is just placed here because of Sudoku. I'll clean up those in a second. The 3 actually places a 1 and a 3. Okay, now there's only 3 digits left in the column, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and so now that's the 1, that's the 5, and that's the 9. Excellent. Okay. Have we used all? Oh, right. That 3 gets seen by this clue. I was going to ask if we'd done all the clues yet. And I thought we had done all the clues except the ones with the 9s. But we have not done all the clues except the ones with the 9s yet. Almost, though, perhaps. Let's see. I know one of these two is 1. I'm not enthused about that. Let's see, what about these? I know they can't be 2. They could be 1. Oh, well, we know where the 1 goes in this row. Ah, that's the point. Yeah. These couldn't be 1, so that's just the 1 for the row. And so this is the 4 or the 5 for the row that completes that triplet. Let's see. What other digits can I do a Sudoku on? Let's see. I know one of those two is 1. One of those two is 1. That's not so exciting. Let's see. One of those two is 2. One of these two is 3. One of those two is 3. Let's see. What about this column? Maybe I should just do this column. The 1 in this column is placed, I see, by sheer force of will alone. The 1 has to go there because that 1 sees it, that 1 sees that cell, and that 1 sees that cell. So what's left in this column is a 2, 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it's 2, 4, 5, and that's the 2, which seems to do a lot. So a 2, 4 pair, that's a 5, and that's a 4. And now we've got these resolved. So now the 2 places a 9 there, the 5 places a 9 there, that's a 4. That's a 2 and a 4. And now we have just Sudoku, and hopefully it will be a quick Sudoku. What about these? 3, 4. Okay, so these are 5 and 6. These are 6 and 7 in an undisclosed order. These are 3 and 8 in an undisclosed order. Okay, great. My hopes of a quick Sudoku seem to be rapidly evaporating. These are a 3, a 5, and a 6. Okay, and a, again, very undisclosed order. So this is a naked single because the digits left in this column are 3, 5, and 6, but this cell sees a 3 and a 6. So that's a 5, which at least gets me a 5 over down there. These are a 3, 6, and something else, and a 7. So that's not a 6, that's not a 3, ye old perfect chocolate teapot. As the Cracking the Cryptic boys would say, that's a 1. This is a 3 or a 7. It's not a 7, so it's a 3 and a 7. Okay, and then we sort of, now we get paid off for the fact that we got so unlucky for this long period of time of guessing these. That's usually how it goes, is if you get unlucky and you keep filling in digits and nothing happens, then eventually when you pick the right place, then you sort of have already done the work and everything just unravels immediately, at least if you use the error checking, there we go, or whatever, not error checking, conflict checker, there we go. I came up with the words. That's a 4 for the column. I should be able to figure out what this digit is. It looks like it's a 6, which gives me a 2 and a 6 over there. One of these is a 2, and it's that one. That's an 8. This is a 9. I thought we'd placed all the 9s, but apparently not. But now we've placed all the 9s. One of these is a 4, and the other one is hopefully something useful. The other one's a 7, is something useful. These two, one of those is a 4. The other's a 5. Let's see, that is 8 and 2. And there we go. I hope that you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments if you learned anything today, if you enjoyed the video, if you had fun. Do please also like the video. It does really help us around here. It helps people find the series. There are a lot of people on the internet who like watching variant Sudoku videos, but they don't always find the channel because it's a smaller channel. So your liking helps other people find it, which in turn makes it more profitable for us to do this, which in turn makes it so that we make more of it. So if you enjoy this content and want to see even more of it, by all means, please encourage the algorithm to encourage others to enjoy us as much as you do. All right, but that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.